Okay, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Vampyr. So we're going to carry on with the mission from where we left off, and that is we're going to go and speak to Mr. Redgrave. And obviously there have been some changes around here as Lady Ashbury seems to be in the club. So let's see what she has to say.
Elizabeth, what are you doing here?
I've been formally asked to witness your triumph, my dear. After all, isn't it the natural role of a woman to support her man in victory?
But it's you who insisted I join the Ascalon.
Please forgive my giddiness. I'm just overcome by the thrill of finally being allowed within these hallowed halls.
You certainly have an inquisitive mind. It's quite something. Elizabeth Ashbury, only you can make me smile in these difficult times.
And the same to you, Jonathan Reed. Now go have your little chat with the chairman. I can see he's practically bursting to hear your report.
Alright, well, we shall do that. We do some exploration as we want to see if these guys want to say anything. Anyways, if you folks enjoyed this episode, please do not forget to support me and the channel by hitting that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new and haven't already, and don't forget to hit that bell icon if you have just subscribed. Also, for those interested in hanging out with me, you can always find me on the Sethtopia Discord as well as on the Lush Life Discord. Links to these can be found down below in the video's description as well as in a pinned comment in the comment section. And before we go and speak to Mr. Redgrave, I just wanted to see if anything around his club has changed, if there's anything that we can loot. I guess there isn't. Or not that much anyways. So that means we must go and speak to Mr. Grave himself. Is that you?
Welcome back to the Ascalon Club, Lance-Bearer. Please tell us the good news. Have you put an end to the epidemic?
My hypothesis was correct. Doris Fletcher was the source of the contagion in this part of town. She was probably the first to be infected.
And you cleansed her before the hunters, I've been told. Well done, Dr. Reed. You thrust your lance and pierced the very heart of the corruption.
Okay, I can go with that, I suppose. I have some questions.
But some questions remain.
The important thing is, we won a major battle for the survival of London. For that, we salute you.
Thank you, my lord.
Now, I have another task for you. One of the utmost importance. Perhaps even more so than the previous.
I'm listening.
It's time for you to perform a most sacred duty for the club. I want you to recruit a new vampire.
Recruit a new vampire? Are you sending me on some sort of diplomatic mission?
Not exactly. I want you to make Aloysius Dawson the Ekon he deserves to be.
Don't really want to. I didn't like the guy. I'm not so sure which one to go for, though.
As you wish, my lord.
Good. Now go.
How would you like me to proceed?
Aloysius is waiting for you at the Dawson estate. Once the deed is done, I'll join you there to celebrate this momentous occasion.
Let's ask some more questions.
Before I go, I have a few questions.
All right, I'm listening.
Why Aloysius Dawson?
Because he is about to die, and he just may be the most influential man in England. After me, of course.
Does he know I'm coming?
He can't wait to become your progeny, Dr. Reed. Especially now that you have shown how strong your lineage is through your sister.
Did he choose me?
No, I did. My decision is very recent, to say the least, but it is entirely mine.
How would you like me to proceed?
Don't worry. Aloysius has had many years to prepare himself. He has studied our kind for decades.
Is there any danger?
Our blood alters a mortal body so deeply that some don't survive the metamorphosis. They die for good. But Mr. Dawson has been preparing himself for a long time.
So shall I just let him drink my blood?
Yes. Aloysius will gratefully sup on your blood. His heart will slow, then stop. But he will rise again as one of us, an immortal.
You invited Lady Ashbury. Wouldn't that be breaking one of your cardinal rules? No women allowed.
Not allowed as members, no. But considering the circumstances, I thought you'd like to have her here to witness your triumph.
So it's a temporary admittance, then?
Something of a bargain, considering the crisis we're currently facing.
Goodbye, Lord Redgrave.
Okay, so we need to make Aloysius Dawson a vampire. Now, I don't really personally like the character, and I'd rather not do that. So, from what I have learned in terms of this game is if we speak to the locals and do some research and all that, we might get an option that allows us to avoid doing or performing what Redgrave has requested of us.
Are you all right, Jonathan?
Lord Redgrave has just ordered me to turn Aloysius Dawson, to make him my progeny.
I see. And how do you feel about this?
I'd like your advice on the matter.
The real question here is, why has his lordship given you this task?
Do you think it's some sort of trap?
Do you really want to know?
Well, I did ask.
Yes.
To make an immortal of a soulless blackguard like Aloysius Dawson will only lead to a disaster for London. The man is already dead inside.
Should I refuse? Perhaps politely suggest that Lord Redgrave turn the man into a vampire himself.
Don't you dare, my dear. According to what I've recently discovered, his lordship could kill you for even broaching the subject.
Really? Why?
I've recently found proof that the Earl of Bristol is of lesser lineage and only capable of creating skulls.
Oh dear.
Please tell me more about your recent investigation.
As long as you lower your voice.
What would you have me do?
There are vampires right next to us, you know. They can probably hear.
Did you know he plans to build a wall to separate the healthy rich from the sickly poor? Do not make him your progeny.
What would you do?
The man's dying already. Let the Reaper harvest the rotten fruit that is his soul.
Are you sure your information about Redgrave is correct? He says he's the progeny of the great knight William Marshall, who lived some 9 centuries ago.
That's a lie. Lord Redgrave is unable to create anything but skulls, if the poor souls survive at all.
Oh dear.
How can you be sure the information was correct?
I made the acquaintance of a most interesting informer while investigating your maker, from whom I learned the truth about Lord Redgrave.
Why so vindictive? You suddenly sound like you're angry.
Forgive me, Jonathan. I hate myself for it, but I feel such pride in my
I bet you do.
discovery. I'm afraid I just can't help it.
Which is?
He did serve William Marshall, and yes, the blood he covets as a token does truly belong to that legendary knight. But he was never his progeny. His lineage is not so noble.
What would happen if I made Dawson an Ekon like myself?
You would add a powerful immortal into a suffering world. An immortal who already craves authority.
Maybe I could teach him control, like you taught me. Lead him down the right path.
Mr. Dawson spent his life searching for a way to cheat death. I'm sure he has spent decades dreaming of how he'd spend eternity as a tyrant.
I do totally agree with what you just said there, and that makes me even more reluctant to want to turn Mr. Aloysius Dawson. I think that would be a very bad decision for the district, and he should not be turned. So, From this point on, I can tell you guys, I'm not going to turn them. I'm going to do whatever I can, take whatever option I can not to turn them. So that means it's investigation time. That means I'm going to have to talk to people. I'm going to have to try and figure out who this crazy buffoon is, to find a weakness and maybe unlock several hints that might allow us to obviously not turn him. I'm hoping that that is an option. I would not like that guy to live forever because he's going to be a bad person. And he's gonna be of a very powerful lineage if he's going to have our lineage, which means he's gonna be a nasty fella, so I don't want him to actually live. Okay, I was just checking because I picked up a letter. I'm not sure which one it was. That doesn't really matter. We've got the nice saber. Got some stuff here that's okay. I'm just having a look at what I currently have in my inventory. Now, where do I need to go? R.B.Sethum Dawson. Okay, so we still have a handful of people to discover. Maybe out of those folks, someone might have some good information on Mr. Dawson. I don't really want to turn this guy. Everybody seems to be okay in this district. We have Giselle Paxton and Lottie Paxton missing, along with another character that's missing. Forgot his name now. He's the pillar, or whatever his name was. Yes, Sean Hampton. Geesh. So he's also gone missing, and obviously the district is not doing too well at all. So I am actually afraid of actually spending my points at this point in time, simply because I do not want the district to become hostile. That's the big thing. Okay, so the Pembroke area has a few ill people. Some ill people in the Whitechapel area. Okay. Okay, there's only one person that's ill in this district, thankfully. Okay, so these are some missions that we can do for the area, which I might do at some point in time, if I think I have a chance and time to do it. If not, we will not bother with them. I might even do some of them off camera. Who knows? I mean, I don't really want to fill the series with the side missions. That's not one thing I want to do. I think I'm going to end up focusing predominantly on the main missions for the series. Unless people request me to do the side missions, and I might record some of them. Not all of them, though. I don't think many people might be interested in them. What is down here? This is the cellar. Nothing of interest, I think. Seem to remember that we checked this place out before. We did, didn't we? Yeah, there's nothing of interest down here. That door doesn't open. It's fairly tidy compared to the upstairs. There's no dead bodies or anything down here. For some reason, I struggled to go up those stairs, so I had to go back. Apparently that's a thing in the game. Anything here in this office? Nothing at all. Nothing at all, I guess. Okay, so my plan is, once I exit the Ascalon Club, I'm going to go and speak to the good people around this area. Before I set off, I want to see if anyone has anything interesting at all to say about Mr. R.B.Sethum Dawson. Maybe we get a hint or something, which is what I'm hoping for, because those normally unlock different options in the conversations with the NPCs. At least that is what I am hoping for. If not, if we don't find anything here, then I guess we crack on to the next area and see what we can discover there. Hopefully we come across some sort of a hint to help us avoid turning Mr. Dawson into a creep. I mean, he's already a creep, but he doesn't have to be an immortal creep.
It looks
I'd
like
be happy.
vampires have to obey Mendel's laws when producing progeny. Powers pass from one generation to another. That's why Dawson wants me to sire him. I cannot enter.
And that's why I don't want to sire him. We do not want to add that, because I do not trust Mr. Grave at all. I think he's a snake. So I don't want to give him something powerful. I think if we give him that option, he might kick us out of the club, and then he will have a very powerful vampire there if the powers pass on from us to Dawson.
What can you tell me about him?
Don't trust him. He's looking for the same thing I was. Rats? No, not rats. Something else. I don't remember.
Well, he did make a bit of sense there. Don't trust him. Plus, if a progeny has a, let's call it, psychic link to his maker, then he should be able to read our thoughts, which, again, not a good thing.
I won't lie to you, Johnny. I'm not a well man.
What can you tell me about Aloysius Dawson?
Well, I've discovered he's quite versed in occult knowledge. So I wrote him a letter asking him to finance my research about vampires. He never responded.
I kind of know why.
You should try to sleep.
He's part of the Ascalon Club, mate. That's a club of vampires.
Women's right to vote is only the
Good evening, Miss Ashbury.
And good evening to you, Dr. Reed.
What do you know about Aloysius Dawson?
That man is a tyrant, the embodiment of greed and selfishness. All I despise about this country.
Oh, well, another reason not to like him.
Give my best regards to your mother when you see her.
She's been quite busy these last few nights.
Okay. Who else can we talk to around this area? What about you, sir? What do you have to say?
Good evening.
Do you know anything about a man called Aloysius Dawson?
He used to be a big spender. One day, he sent 3 houseboys to buy all the beluga in my shop for his brother's birthday, if I remember correctly.
I see. Anything else? Less gastronomic, perhaps?
I really can't say. The man is filthy rich. But you know that, of course.
Filthy rich.
Goodbye, Mr. Russell.
Okay.
I'm sure you'll take care of yourself.
So, nothing here. I guess we need to go to the next location. I don't think there's anyone that we can talk to. Unless I go and speak to my wonderful mother and our butler, if you will. See if they have anything to say. I might do that. And then we crack on and go to the next section, hopefully to meet up with Mr. Dawson. I don't really want to go up there, but I was hoping that there was another way around. I guess not. How do these things keep spawning in here? I do not like them. But I need to go in. I want to speak to my mom. You get the heck out of here, lady. Go on. Take your friend with you. Ah, no, don't want that. Oh, don't do that. Oh. Well, your lady friend is amongst the dead now. You might want to leave. You're not going to win this. No, you're not. Okay, that really hurt, sir. Jeez. Right. Did she drop anything good? Yes, she did. She dropped a bag. And I picked it up. Okay, so as I was saying, let's go and speak to our butler, our house butler, my apologies, and our dear mother. Maybe they have something to say. I mean, Mom's not really with it, but whilst we're here, might as well see what we can craft. By the looks of things, not very much. Let's have a look at this. Oh, this is a nice saber. It's actually quite nice. So the plan is half damage, half blood. I think that should do. We could always swap it over to full damage if need be. But this could be a second weapon, kind of a duplicate of the first. And if we get all those parts, we can totally upgrade it. That would be nice. A fully upgraded sword. Saber even. It is a saber. It's also a sword. But it's actually a saber. Okay. Where... Aha. Well, what do you know about Aloysius Dawson? Dawson? Nope. No, you don't want to tell me. My bad. My English was not that great. I blame the heat. It's definitely not my fault for that. Okay. Further down. Who's he talking to? Alfred? Who the heck are you talking to, Alfred? Is this some Hogwarts thing?
Yes, Mr. Jonathan.
What can you tell me about Aloysius Dawson?
Not much, sir. Mr. Dawson's house used to be a good house, with many servants. I heard he fired them all recently.
Goodbye, Avery. Please watch over my mother until I return.
Of course, Mr. Jonathan. But please return as soon as possible.
Who the heck was he talking to? Unless he was talking to somebody in the fire, kind of like what they do in Hogwarts. In Harry Potter. That could be a thing, I suppose. I mean, this game does seek inspiration from many other sources in terms of vampires. I might as well have a look at Harry Potter for some hints here and there. But yeah. I want to see if there's anybody this way that I could talk to. No, I've talked to you. I don't think there's anybody else. I mean, there's also a little mission that we have here that we could do. A little side mission. I know there's a window we need to get to. Just don't know how to get there. Okay, let's have a look. See, there's all these things that we could, in theory, jump on, but it doesn't take us anywhere. So the window is... Yes, the window is somewhere here, right above me. But I cannot get there. Now, I think if I could get there, then probably teleport onto this... thing on the side. Maybe that's a thing, I don't know, but there's definitely a possibility of teleporting from there to the window, because it's got like that thing over there. So I think that might be an option, but I need to go inside and the lady of the house won't let me in. That's the thing. I need to come back another day, which I do not want to do, because that means sleeping. So let's see if we can get in now.
You're still up. Can't you just knock at people's doors during the day?
Ah, we have the mesmerized level to do it.
I'm sure you can spare me a few minutes, for old time's sake.
Of course you may enter, Jonathan. I remember when Mary came here with her husband.
So yeah, the first time I tried to get in, she wouldn't let me in. She told me to come back the next day. Might as well loot your house because you do seem to have a mighty big and fancy house. Gotta have something of value here, I reckon.
It's a pleasure to see you again, Venus.
So you returned from the war in one piece too. Thank God. My Clarence is back home too.
How is the old rascal?
Probably outside, chasing ghosts and chimeras. Clarence has changed a lot since he returned from the war, you know.
How have you been since the last time we met? How long has it been? 3 years now?
I've done my duty, like all British women. You have no idea what it was like to wait for months without knowing if I'd still be a wife or a widow.
I understand. Luckily, this part of town has been saved from the worst of the bombings, from what I've seen.
Yes, and it's also true about the epidemic. The flu has killed here too, of course, but not on such a large scale as in other parts of town.
Venus, why do you worry so much about your family's reputation?
Everyone laughs at Clarence now. And they avoid me because they believe I share his insane opinions. I'm a leper in my own community.
Well, he is kind of right. Vampires do exist. I am one of them, after all.
Peculiar about the neighborhood recently?
You mean except for your return to town? No. Oh, and again, Jonathan. Please accept my condolences for your sister.
Okay, we should probably thank her.
It was so sudden. And I've been so busy, I haven't spoken to anyone about it.
I wish I could have assisted at the funeral, but you know, it's been so quick. And what with the epidemic in the streets?
There's no need to apologize, my dear. It's normal, considering the circumstances.
No, it's not. I am sure that Clarence has not even thought to present you his condolences. He is too busy with his penny dreadful stories.
Oh dear.
Why is my return so surprising?
It's more an unexpected happy end than a surprise. You and Clarence, back from the war.
Oh shit.
You have
Sorry,
no
couldn't help
idea
that.
How hard it's been for me.
I don't find that one very believable.
Tell me about Clarence's obsession with vampires.
It drives me so crazy it makes my stomach hurt. I was so relieved to have him back. But I quickly realized he'd lost his mind in France.
I understand your irritation, Venus. But you have to accept the trauma Clarence endured on the battlefield.
The question is simple, Jonathan. Is my husband mad? Yes or no? Do vampires exist? Or is Clarence a lunatic?
Vampires do exist and he's not a lunatic. But I'm not going to tell you that because I would be breaking my own cover.
So you don't believe Clarence?
If poor Mary, bless her soul, had tried to convince you of the existence of bloody vampires, would you have believed
course.
her? Seriously?
Of course, why not?
The important question is, what do you really think of your husband?
I'm tough, Jonathan. He should have told me the horrors he witnessed, however appalling it was, instead of inventing a fantasy about blood-drinking monsters.
What can you tell me about Aloysius Dawson?
I never met the man. I know Clarence tried to contact him recently, but I don't know why.
Goodbye.
All right. Definitely a family with issues.
Mary came here with her husband and her son.
So,
They were such a beautiful family.
what else can we find up here? And basically now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, obviously after I loot everything, I'm going to find that door, window, whatever that thing was, that we could go out to probably try and dash across to the other building and actually carry on with that investigation. I couldn't do it initially when I first tried, but now the option is available. And why do you have a bathtub in your bedroom? I guess that was a thing in London. We might have questioned it. Okay, there's a chest there. Oh, there's a book. We want that as well. But, oh, journal even. Okay, but why is it a page? Oh, never mind. We're not even going to bother with it. It has unlocked a hint, though. Okay, I don't think there's anything else. And my lord, this room is big. Well, it's actually quite huge. Just wanted to make sure that there's nothing that I will have overlooked. I'm going to quickly check down here. I am, after all, hunting for hints in regards to Mr. Aloysius Dawson. And I don't know where I'm going to find it, so I will try and be a bit on the thorough side. I don't really want to turn that guy into a vampire. I have a really bad feeling about turning him, and everybody seems to have really bad thoughts about the guy. So, definite no for me. Okay, so this is where I wanted to go. As you can see, I already had the prompt to do the dash. Now, how the heck do I do this? Because the camera's in an awkward angle, and it is awfully annoying. How do I do it? Oh, close the door, please, somehow. Close that door. Seriously? Ah, okay, we can do it. Never mind. So this is the place that we've been looking for in terms of a side mission that we were doing for Lady Ashbury's daughter. I'm glad that I finally managed to find a way to get up here. Obviously, we will continue this in the next episode. That is it for this episode, folks. I know it was probably a bit more on the boring side. I can apologize for that, but it is part of the game nonetheless. Anyways, that is it for this episode, folks. I do hope that you have enjoyed it. If you have, please do not forget to support me and the channel by hitting that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new and haven't already, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so that you get notified when I upload new content. And for those interested, you can always find me on the Sethtopia Discord as well as on the Lush Life Discord. Links to these will be down below in a pinned comment as well as in the video description. Until next time, stay safe, folks.